We are reacting to this huge update. We are talking about these improvements to Blitz and reacting to the rumors, all that and more on your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. And if you're ready for it, my brother, Tony Scungili, tell him what to do.
Keep on ignoring Blitz.
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back, and I am joined by my brother, Tony Scungili, for your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. Tony, what is up, brother? You are back.
Yeah, you keep finding me doing nothing all the time, so I'm gonna keep showing up until the army of Valley Maniacs take me out.
No. Well, they may not have liked your audio, but I did want to bring you back because both times I've had you on, and last week, and we've kind of caught it in the middle. There's been some audio issues that have been my fault, so I wanted to have you back. Hopefully we get a technically sound production today. Hopefully the content matches the technically sound production, and we can talk about all of the stuff in Marvel Strike Force, brother. There have been some big things happening. Obviously, everything surrounding this update. We got some rumors, we got some characters, and some big improvements to Blitz. But first...
Exciting.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big one. It's a fun one. But first, let's start with the update. The update itself, update 4.3 was released. A lot of different things. We're gonna get to a lot of these things individually. But what is your overall impression of this update?
Kind of where I thought it was going to be. It was a huge update with a lot of changes. They added content to the game. They added resources that we were looking for. They added a whole bunch of reworks to characters. Some were phenomenal, some were not so much. We're getting a whole bunch of new characters for people interested in that. Big patches come with a degree of bugs, but overall, I think this is a very big and good update for the game, so I'm very happy with it. But again, with some of the bugs,
We'll get to the bugs. There were a lot of them. I don't know if there are any like super game-breaking bugs, at least on the big scale. But I see your face. Maybe there are. We'll get to them. But what was your favorite part of this update, just on a personal level?
My favorite part happened to be using the Avengers to beat the final 3 nodes of the Doom campaign.
Okay.
Doom campaign. Like that was a moment. I was like, I never would have thought this. I never thought I could do this. And then, of course, today in Gamma, using the Avengers to beat the first couple of nodes on the outside lane. I was like, they could be used now? What?
It's great. So fun. I think that has to be my favorite part as well. I mean, if we want to get super specific, probably the Hulk rework, but that whole Avengers, making them usable, making them a fun team again in the game. You know, they're not the meta team. They're not the best team in the game, but they're fun and they're usable. And you can use them in so many different areas of this game. That just makes me happy as well. So all in all, I'm happy with this update, but like you said, brother, it came with some bugs. Let's talk about these bugs here. It wouldn't be an MSF update without bugs. No matter how positive we feel about this update, but like I said before, not a lot of them too game breaking. Most of them seem like visual bugs. There's an issue with save squads that's currently going on in raids and in Blitz that make your teams appear that they're not don't have full health. There's some big visual bugs going on with Beast right now. I think they fixed one and something else is happening. Some bugs that they know about with Dr. Doom, but he's not even in a game yet. And anyway, we could go on. First battle, there's an issue with that not matchmaking, not correctly matching with other players. It looked like that may have been fixed because I know you were using that a little earlier. Issue with Captain America, some of his stats on his roster screen not showing. Apparently this is just a visual bug, so not really affecting too much as far as the gameplay. Daily all clear rewards. A lot of people weren't getting the, I guess maybe not a lot of people, most people were not getting their ABCs, SBCs if they already have a 7-star Wolverine, but I think they already sent out compensation for that. So that was another one. The Cataclysm, they're still working on the nodes that were supposed to give 3 times the shards a couple weeks ago. They gave 2 times, so they're trying to figure that out. And then supply store. They are fixing some issues with the supply store. I guess if you have more than 99, it says 99 plus. They're trying to fix it so that if it says it's going to 9,999. So that is in their fix. All right, so that is the bug update. What is your reaction to all of these bugs? Some very minor and some a lot of visual bugs, it seems like, with this update.
At some point, you know, the audio still doesn't work. You know, like at what point are you like, oh no, surprise, a new bug in Marvel Strike Force? It's just become easy to accept the fact that some things just aren't going to work when a patch comes out. We just kind of cross our fingers and hope it's not game breaking. A lot of it's weird flexes too. Like, why did they decide to show 999 on the quick screen? They added this amazing quality of life feature so you could just see it. Like, oh, look, this is how much I have. I don't have to click to see it. And then they're like, no, you only need to know if you have over 1,000.
Having that extra number on the screen was taking them too many resources of their servers. Just, I mean, give them a break. I mean, they can't handle all those numbers, dude.
Those poor hamsters are running their heart off to tell us how many SBCs we don't have anymore.
Jesus.
But you know, it's weird too. Like there's bugs, and then there's like weird changes that they're making, and it's like, why would you do that? I don't know. Like I said, if it's not actively breaking the game, and some things might be, but we don't know yet. But if it's not actively breaking the game, like Black Bolt or Black Bolt, or Black Bolt, or Black Bolt, I didn't know if I mentioned him before. You know,
hey,
like
is that brand new character, or is that character? Yeah. Is this?
It just came out last January.
Oh, okay. Okay. So they've only had only a few months to fix it. I get it. Yeah. I get it. You know.
For the record, Scopely is now hiring QA. Just point that out. They had a job post. Yay! So you guys go ahead and apply.
Late sound Q. Finally, guys.
You could do QA for this game.
All right, and let's talk about Swarm. We saw his kit last week. And he's kind of been released in the game so far for people that wanted to get his offer, check him out. Have you checked him out? And if so, what are your first-hand thoughts on this character?
I have not bought Swarm.
Oh, I guess not much has changed since last week.
Yeah, I've seen people have him. I've talked with some people that bought him and like brought him up a little bit. And you know, when it comes to campaign characters, unless they're truly game-breaking characters or there's some kind of whispers about them being necessary for like a legendary unlock, I'm not gonna give him $24.99. Like, I'll get a 3 or 4 star Swarm through the campaign without any real major effort. Mm-hmm. So why would I give them money to unlock him a little bit earlier? There's characters like Zemo coming up where, yeah, no, I'll give him some cash, but Swarm already kind of looks a little bit lackluster, especially outside of the Sinister Six team. I could find some uses for him, but since he kind of falls in that beast category for me, where he doesn't really offer me anything right now, and even if he does, and I happen to be wrong, I think a 4-star version of him is more than adequate than comparatively to like a 5-star that I would have got if I made a purchase or something. So I don't know. I've seen him be used. He looks okay, I guess. But again, we don't have Doc Ock yet. Doc Ock is kind of really important for what he does. Yeah. So I think I'll skip this one and just kind of see how the chips lie.
So based on some of the footage you've seen and some of the testing that other people have done and given you feedback for, is he still off of your main Sinister Six team that you're theory crafting?
Kind of. I still actually like him more with Green Goblin on the symbiotes.
Okay.
Which is kind of silly, I think, off the top of your head. But like, considering that I'm pulling off, you know, technically 2 characters from that team, because you got to make room for Electro and Doc Ock. Yeah. I think Green Goblin, well, if you kind of have to look at the kits, and I don't want to go into detail, but Green Goblin, whenever a Spider-Verse character takes a turn, they rip a buff off the character, and Swarm offers a bunch of debuffs that normally wouldn't matter. So I look at that as like a war offense team, the 3 symbiotes plus Swarm and Green Goblin, maybe able to kind of beat up on some of the meta teams. I have no way to test that right now because I don't have Swarm, but I might give some shots in against some of the harder to beat teams in the meta.
Sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. I do have the character, and I think I'm going to try to test that in the next war that's that we can experiment. That we're either getting crushed or crushing the opponent to test out a few things with that team. Sounds interesting. But speaking of him, he has an event coming up. A rogue agent is a trait that's required to enter his event. And if we go into the roster here, are there any particular rogue agent combos that you think newer players should be focused on? I mean, we got a lot of good characters here with that rogue agent tag. Is there anything that is there any characters that newer players probably have that they should be looking to target for using in this event?
So specifically for newer players, right? Like obviously, if you have the access that you and I have, we can be like Ghost Rider and Proxima.
Just throw in the highest collection power, and you could probably auto it. But for newer players that haven't been playing as long,
Punisher stands out as he's a character you get really early and probably have some level of investment in. I don't really look for characters like Taskmaster. I'm going to ignore any of those characters that are currently inaccessible. Yondu is a character you may have been working on to unlock Starward, and there are a handful of Sinister Six characters available here, which, depending on how early in the game you are, you've probably been working on a number of them just to be able to unlock both Shuri and Invisible Woman. So there's a good core group of characters you could use if you just have, like, you don't have to go out of your way to start farming like Korath or Mordo if you haven't already to get them on. But there's a wide pool of characters you can use, and with the ones that aren't farmable, Killmonger, if you happen to have a Killmonger, he'd be pretty good at it. He has self-sustain, he does pretty decent damage. He's a merc. He has another tag, but I always forget what it is. Wolverine is a character you all have, you know what I mean? Like, everyone has Wolverine, so
I see a lot of characters that unlock legendaries. Like I'm seeing a lot of villain mystic controllers. You see some mutants on here. Yeah. So the newer players look like they have some options here.
Yeah, and like I said, between the fact that there's a bunch of characters you can use to unlock early game legendaries, the fact that there's a bunch of characters that in general you may have, like Carnage and Venom, Punisher, Ghost Rider, maybe, I don't necessarily think I would bring in Scientist Supreme and Aim Assaulter on that, because neither of them really stand out, and I haven't seen Graviton on this list, so I'm going to assume the best member of the
You don't want to bring in the riskiest character in to know that you have to try to 3-star? That doesn't sound appealing. I want all my teams
to have offense down and defense down.
Yeah.
Don't you? It's called Challenge Valley. Maybe you should try it sometime.
And we both talked about this as our favorite part of this update, the Avengers rework. I just like being able to use them. I like that Hulk is kind of scary now. What are your thoughts on the Avengers, the hype, and where are you seeing them being used, other than just some of the campaigns like you previously mentioned?
I'm seeing a lot of them on war defenses, and that's a great place for them. That's they do very well. They're not hard to beat, but depending on what type of war you're playing, sometimes it's about taxing. Sometimes it's about making your opponents use good teams. So I see an Avengers team, and I just use the Fantastic Four against them. Like a team that I know is going to win. Yeah. And if that's the kind of respect that I'm currently showing to this team, then they've done a great job on war defense. I've heard some people can use them on war offense with key fifth characters like Ultron or Thor.
Thor, yeah, which means split into Asgardians. So
if you don't have enough teams, if you don't have a lot of offense teams, like, it's absolutely correct to use Thor on offense. You don't want to place like the Asgardians on defense if you're only able to do like 2 or 3 attacks.
And definitely if you don't have the Asgardians, that's awesome team to build for new players as well. So it's just another reason to love this team.
Well, one of the things I like the most about the team, I don't remember if I said it last time we talked, but I like the fact that it's not like a team that you build forever. It's one of those teams where, like, so you don't have the Asgardians, but you have Thor. You don't have the power armor, but you unlocked Iron Man with these characters. Like, by all means, like, use them together, and then you just replace them. Okay, well, Iron Man now has his own home. It's really good as like an educational practice for people to learn a little bit more about team building. So the Avengers rework is a little bit more than just like making a useless team useful. It's now like, oh, okay, I can use the Avengers early and then kind of audible off of them. I don't want anyone doing like what I see the mistakes people making with like Defenders and AIM, which is this is the only team I'm ever going to work on. They're going to be great, because they're not going to do that. But they have that great value that lets you know, like, you can use these characters now, and then you can kind of start peeling off and splitting off characters as you build out a wider and better roster. That kind of thing.
That's a good point. I thought it from a farming standpoint, but from a team building standpoint, learning a game that does do some good things for newer players as well. All right, and we talked about this a little. Verse battle, balance draft. I guess it wasn't working properly, but I think it is working properly now. I'm going to defer to you on this one. I have not used this to find players. The only players I've played was people that have added on my contacts list. What are your feelings on this verse battle matchups that we currently have in the game?
So the positive is it's balanced draft, right? The positive is that you don't actually have to have any major crazy investment to do it. You just do it. You know, like you go in with the characters that you have at gear tier 9. They all get scaled up, and it's a fair across the board fight.
It's just for balance draft. It's just having that character unlocked and having them at tier 9. Is there any other requirements to get them available in balance draft?
Unlocked gear tier 9.
Okay.
Level 60 or 65. I don't remember the last thing. I think they need to be at least 60 or 65. One of those two that I don't remember. All right, I could be wrong, but
there is a minimum level for level and a minimum level for gear, and then. But
the bad thing about it is that anyone can queue for it. So you might be a relatively earlier game player than me, and then you enter a queue because you're like, I'm going to try out PvP stuffs, and then you have 1 or 2 legendary characters, and you now have to ban, Phoenix and Black Bolt from my roster, which is what I saw. I went into fights, and I would go into somebody whose roster had maybe the bare minimum for PvP matchmaking, 16 or 20 characters.
Kind of like they're using the same matchmaking system as War.
I can't imagine there is technically a matchmaking system, right? Because there's almost no way they can control, like, they can do matchmaking based on TCP, but that's kind of irrelevant in balanced draft. And then if they do matchmaking based on depth of roster, then that's even weirder and harder to do. Like, oh, do you have these characters unlocked? No. Maybe what they could do for matchmaking is kind of just show, like, put people in a tier based on number of characters available. So like for my example, there's 141 characters 42 with Swarm currently available in the game, of which I have all of them. So maybe that would be like, oh, this guy has access to literally every character in the game, whereas somebody else might have 100 characters in the game, and you may want to pair that person with somebody who also only has about 100 characters, or so on, etc. Like that might be a kind of matchmaking, because I went up against a guy today, and he started trying to build a Defenders team, and I was like, I'm not judging him, because he clearly is playing the game at a level where he's still enjoying using the Defenders. But in PvP, like, I'm just going to take Punisher off, and then you're going to lose. Like, you do not get damage, and now I win with whatever actual team I put
This confuses me, because your match very high, and with someone with a very low roster, it does sound a lot like the War matchmaking system.
No.
It's different. It's different.
You're also, yes, because it's only screwing you, not 23 other people.
Got it. Okay. You're right. It's totally different than the War matchmaking system.
Until they add rewards to it, whatever. Like, I understand that, like, it's fun, and I understand some people just love the pure concept of PvP, but I don't get out of bed unless I get something for it. So, like, if PvP matchmaking, if there are tournaments, if there's something you get, if there's currency or a reward,
achievements for doing X amount of battles,
for PvP, anything, I'll be like, no, okay, I'll do it. But like, just to do it,
weekly login rewards you play
in this game, right?
Maybe adding like weekly login rewards, maybe, in addition to dailies, you play 5 PvP battles per week, you get a login reward of training mats or something like that.
I mean, something's coming,
just to
right?
play it.
There's no way they released a brand new game mode like this into the game and don't have any plans on monetizing it. Like, you know, like that's not what happens. So, and there's plenty of ways to monetize this kind of thing. You could buy a battle pass. You can incentivize people to bring more characters up to gear tier 9, which inherently comes with its own expenses to it. There's, they can make it balanced and then true or natural draft where you have to use powers, so people are more incentivized to invest in characters. There's plenty of different ways, but until there's a reward.
Or just something simple like enhancing their current monetization method if people want to play with the new characters in the balanced draft. So, hey, I want to buy this new character, and more people are gonna want to buy it because hey, there's more of an incentive to play this mode now and try that character out at max level. If I wanted to spend more time in this game, I wouldn't click auto on nodes. You know what I mean? Like, if I was just like, man, I really need to play more, I would just do the nodes. I would like that cost energy. I wouldn't click auto. You know, I don't need another thing to twiddle my thumbs in while I play the game. I agree with you. I think most players agree with you, and that might be, while it is fun, what it hasn't really caught on with, the majority of the player base. It's not. When I make a video on PvP, it gets lower views than any other type of video I make. So it hasn't really caught on is what I'm seeing. All right, Doom War, the big campaign, the new content that came to the game, skill gear, bio gear, a bunch of mini uniques, new farmable characters. What I liked about this a lot when we talked about this last week was that it opens up more campaigns, not just adding chapters to Nexus or Cosmic, adding totally new campaigns with totally new themes. I like this. I like what they've added. The difficulty, I like that it was difficult. What are your thoughts on this whole Doom War campaign?
Tony, man, seeing new content makes me happy. My two big takeaways from this Doom campaign is the ability to farm gear that's relevant in the end game, and the ability to start using additional characters that otherwise I might not have paid too much attention to. Now, sometimes you invest in characters and you don't use them. Sometimes you don't invest in characters because you don't use it. Ultimately, like, this gave us an opportunity to use characters outside. And keeping in mind that much like the Hero 7 and Villain 7 one, and etc., like, this is not the goal. This is something you grow into as time progresses. So no one should be looking at this like, oh no, I need to bring up my Shield/Wave 1 Avengers and Fantastic Four in order to be able to clear this as fast as possible. Like, yeah, if your priority is unlocking Doc Ock eventually, maybe. But ultimately, like, this is an end game content for end game players or people just entering the end game to be able to farm more and more resources with a little bit of accessibility to people who are just, happen to be hitting level 70, kind of progressing through. It's not a race, don't run as hard as you can to get here, but it gives you something to work on that helps you grow your roster with mini uniques, with additional drops of, skill gear or
there's bio.
Oh. No, I just said skill gear in general.
Oh, but there is bio. Yeah. There's bio. We were wondering about that last week. We were you thought of the horror that it would be all skill, but there is bio. We got some mutant. We got a little bit of everything. I like what they added here.
And we're gonna get more as they've confirmed they're gonna add more campaigns. So.
Yes. So this, I totally agree with you what you were saying. This is meant for newer players, and this is, not new players, end game players, and this is the type of stuff that end game players want to be farming. These mini uniques, getting prepared for Dark Dimension 4, getting Dr. Doom, some of these later game characters, to get Dr. Octopus. I like it. And
one
more chapters coming.
Note.
Yes.
One other note.
Negative? Is it a negative?
Don't get used to seeing Thor there.
Really?
Do not get used to seeing Thor there.
Oh, do not.
Wink,
okay.
wink.
I thought you had new information from last week. Okay.
No. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. That's temporary.
Yes, kind of like rescue. As soon as I saw him, I'm like, why? I just he's gonna get that rescue treatment. Speculate in the comments who you think is coming to this node, guys. All right, Beast is moving through the rotation this week. This past week got added to the Ultimates or Basic Premium Mega. And as a result, I like that they keep doing the Sabertooth removed from the Mega Orb. by the time they add all these characters, I think we're gonna have a pretty nice mega orb. What are you thinking of how they keep removing these characters and cycling these characters through pretty quick? Beast seems like it just was released a couple weeks ago.
This is them keeping their word. You know, after Fix MSF and everything, this is them saying, like, we're paying attention to you. We're making characters more accessible quicker. Now, obviously, he's not farmable. It's not the perfect scenario. But as they're updating the Mega Orbs, as they're allowing you the chance of pulling them out of things like Premium Orbs or Ultimus Orbs, it's easier to accidentally come across characters. And we can talk about it the last 6 months, how it's been getting better and better. But going back over a year, you know, if a character, we never knew when the character would be available. The character would be available when they were available. We just accepted it and moved on. Now that we see like Beast is going to be, you know, he's in this, we kind of see a timetable, you know. Usually the characters are placed in the orbs within about a month of their initial release. Mm-hmm. And then about a month later, they find some way to become farmable. That's not true of everybody.
Hopefully. I think that's nice the plan. Yeah. But yeah, this is the first step. This is the first step.
Yeah. I'm a little salty about Sabretooth being taken out. Not for me personally, but more along the lines of Sabretooth is a relatively harder farm than some of the other characters.
Raid store? Is he Raid or War? Raid.
He's Raid. And since they haven't added a second row of Raid characters, they're going to add one when they bring Cyclops in, I think. We'll talk about that later.
One. Yes.
Yeah, one. You know, I don't, you know, like, yeah, that's cool. But Sabretooth, like, if you were a newer player and you opened a Mega Orb and got 50 or 100 Sabretooth, that means that, like, you're progressing meaningfully towards, you know, a Magneto unlock or two completely unique teams.
I don't think they're looking at that.
But other than that,
they're just looking at the characters, though. I mean, Thanos. Some people were a little mad that they removed that for newer players for characters, but Thanos was the older character. I think they're just going by date, and Sabretooth came out sometime in year one. So, and as much as it sucks for newer players, I think they're not even taking that into account. These things are just, oh, he's old, he's coming out,
which is technically fine. You know, like a Mega Orb should feel mega. Like the Premium Orbs, we already talk about it all the time. Premium Orbs don't feel premium. You know, like Premium Orbs feel like incredibly lackluster.
Minion soup,
Mega Orbs should feel mega. And getting 50 shards of one of the newest characters does inherently feel better than getting 50 shards of somebody that, you know, you can technically farm. So
agreed.
If it had to be somebody, I wish it wasn't Sabretooth, but like, I'm not going to cry about it, you know?
Yeah. All right, and we talked about the cycling characters through the Mega Orbs. We are, and just the orbs in general, they look like they're cycling characters a little quicker through the Elite Store. I know with the Red Star changes, the 2.0 that happened, one of the big criticisms was that newer characters aren't in the Elite Store right away on day one. They said they want to try to make them available when they're farmable, but it looks like they are making them sooner because they're constantly adding these characters to the Elite Store. Do you feel that this is a good thing that they're adding these, or would you like them to wait a little bit longer just to make them a little more exclusive?
Let's be honest. They didn't prevent them from being placed into the Red Star store for any other reason than to try to sell more Red Star orbs, right?
I was just trying to play devil's advocate. I can't think of a good reason either.
I know
you
were, and I'm just not letting you on your show. No, I get it. You know, their goal is like, you're gonna buy more Red Stars while the boosted drop rate is up. And you know what? They're a business. They have every right to do that.
Yeah.
A couple of people have this opinion, and I actually share it. Listen, let people buy up to like 4 reds the day it comes out. Maybe you can add the 5, 6, and 7 potential drops later, you know, the really big ones. But ultimately, most players, they when a character comes out, they're trying to get some Red Stars on them, especially if you're just gonna get a 2 or 3 star version of that character. You know, a 5 or 7 would be great. You know, I know a friend of mine just pulled a 7 Red Star Beast. He's like, what do I do? I'm like, buy him. You know, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, spend money. You know, open Premium Orbs or Mega Orbs, you know? I don't like the idea of it. So I don't think the exclusivity of Red Stars benefits the player base on a whole. I think that they did a great thing by giving an amount of promotion credits. I think that they've increased the amount of drop rates, so it's still not great, but it's better than it was, and it's kind of helpful to all the players. They get more promotion credits, they get more high red stars like Elite Fours through opening with the stuff they can. I was always against the idea of just being like, they're not going to be in the purchasable store, because the people who are willing to spend money are also going to spend money. Like, all you've done is stretch the amount of money, you know? So now somebody who would normally just buy those promotion credits and buy red stars is kind of like feeling a little salty, because now that they have to wait, and whatever they don't happen to get on the character they want, just bad luck, I assume. So it just feels dirty, but.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody, I mean, like you said, this is really not in the benefit of anybody to have it like this. But
only Fox Mix.
Huh?
/ Scopely.
Yeah, I guess them, but it is moving a little quicker than they originally proposed. You know, they said when it was farmable, so I do like that they're moving quicker than that. Obviously, if they would move quicker than they are moving with this, even better. But you know, or what it is.
I'm happy to see these characters. You know, like I'm happy to see them available in the store this quickly, because it gives me hope. I imagine that within the next, because this came out, what, 8/20? It's the 25th at the time of this video. So I imagine that within the next 3 weeks, we're going to see the availability to purchase like Emma and you know.
Oh, I even forgot about them.
Yeah, like Emma was the one I cut, like, because Emma came out.
They said when they said as soon as the promotion calendar is over, she'll be available.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're holding off on her for a reason, so they could extend this promotion, so people have to keep logging in. You know, we got some improvements to Blitz. So awesome! All right, so they talked about this in that 2020 roadmap. We're gonna get to that in just a little bit, or the second 2020 roadmap. But they're limiting the number of chargeless attacks to 8 per 24-hour window, with with 2 hours between 16 hours of blitzing. That is if blitzing took 0 time, but if you're running 20 teams, 2 minutes per team, and that is best case scenario with loading times and everything. That's 40 minutes just to get through those teams. You get to do that 16 times every day, or 8 times every day. How awesome is that? Just this first change coming to Blitz.
This is clearly
they're limiting
botting. Right. This is to stop bots, because that difference is a bot would get about 12 rotations.
But that's not what it says in the blog. It says that this is meant to allow more flexibility in your day when you're making a run to stop at when you're making a run at the top spot. You can choose when to use your limited number of attacks. That's what they said. That's what it says it's supposed to do.
Well, I don't think they've ever made a mention of bots, that they're just not in the business of doing that. Listen, 8. So yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, because the people who, basically what you said is the people who were like actually did like wake up in the middle of the night and blitz for whatever reason they chose to do that.
Sleep
those
now.
people, those people are now like nerfed. Like they nerfed the people who were willing to make that change, and like they were working towards it. I'm not saying you should ever have to do that. I think that's ridiculous. But if you're going to limit the number of attacks to 8, just be like, you can attack 8 times.
So basically, to correct this whole sentence here, this is meant to allow more flexibility in your sleep schedule when making a run at the top spot by choosing when you're that would correct everything. That makes more sense to me. In your sleep schedule.
No, man.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't, like,
it helps your sleep schedule. It
doesn't help anybody.
It's just a typo. Well, it helps the people that want to sleep. That's what it's for, and the people that don't want to go blitz spotters. That's what this is for.
16 hours of blitzing.
It's for the people that want to sleep, guys. You can sleep now. That's what this. I thought it's just a typo. It's your sleep, not the day. That's what they. All right, next change. Only numbered rank rewards for top 100 players. All right, so they're changing some things. We have a blitz going on right now, but there's red stars included, so it's kind of hard to see what the actual change is. Right now, it looks like the rewards for top 100 and top 1 to 2% are the same. Do you think that these are some of the changes that we're going to see? Maybe the red stars is a permanent change, or this is something that like they've done in the past with some other characters? What do you think is? What do you think this current blitz that we have reveals about what this process is going to be?
It's too early to tell. So the one thing I will say, we've had this Red Star Blitz before. It was the exact same thing. It was like 100, 185, blah, blah, blah. The only difference was the top 100 got a 5 Red Star. It was Scientist Supreme, I believe. And then everyone else was like 4, 3.
I think it was the Tadano Mac.
They technically nerfed the reward on this one a little bit, I think. But
unless it's permanent. Okay. Unless it's permanent, right? Unless it's a permanent, it's always giving those. Maybe. Well,
then we have a different issue. Right. If this is the, I don't believe this is. I believe this is just a Red Star Mordo Blitz that they've made their own thing. Well, I think we'll find out more tomorrow, Thursday or whenever.
I think next Thursday with the new character Blitz is when we're going to find out, because it's kind of hard to tell until we get a new character.
That's fair. That's also fair. I think, but we got to have some kind of preparation. I just don't think we're going to get a Thursday Red Star Blitz for Colossus. You know what I mean? I think it's just going to be a regular Colossus Blitz, but I could be wrong. And again, maybe even if it is, it still doesn't tell us anything. It doesn't tell us if this is the new format.
All we know is that what these 2 sentences tell us in the blog post, because even what we see in game, it doesn't provide a lot of information.
So there's an old expression in a lot of things. It's called show, don't tell. It's actually, you've acted, show, don't tell. Like, don't say how you feel, show people how you feel.
Yeah.
Like, they need to tell too. Like, they're doing a terrible job of telling, because I don't know, because I've seen it and I still have no idea what to expect. Yeah. What I will say is there's 2 kind of situations, right? First, like, if you were a consistent top 100 blitzer, which I'm talking to like maybe 150 total players in the game, if you were a consistent top 100 players, you are now getting less rewards, unless the percentages include everybody, and then the top 100 is extra rewards, which I think would be great too. And then we're basing this exclusively off what we see here, because I think that
yeah, I mean, and they said so most players should see more character rewards, so maybe they are scoring that top end Blitz players right there. It's hard to say. It's hard to say right now.
We can't know.
Let's move on to this third one. Let's move on to this third one. Let's leave it at that. We don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see more blitzes to see what's going on. But the point calculations, we do know. And the way it ramps up is very different. The intention that they say here is to reward opponent selection, team construction, and battle strategy, place less emphasis on steamrolling teams with a higher TCP. And I'm scoring less points. I know at 8.3, I'm scoring half of what I normally would. And I'm not sure if that is flat across the board, if everybody is seeing flat reductions.
I don't know. I like, and I blitz. You guys know I'm a blitz guy. I love to blitz. I love to figure out how to blitz efficiently and with the right characters. I don't particularly care about TCP on the character, how strong they are. It's more about which teams have the synergies. And that's when I do my roster reviews and everything like that. That's all about blitz. But I keep reading this, and I like, my brain, I feel like a veins start throbbing, because I'm like, but if I'm in 8-3 and I'm winning fights, I'm supposed to be doing well. Like, yes. if I'm in the hardest possible fight, I'm supposed to be rewarded. I've heard people say they get more points winning with the same team in like tier 6 and 7 than they do in 8. Okay, I'm just not going to fight in 8-3 anymore. Like, I'm gonna fight where the points are. Like, this didn't do anything.
It makes no sense. Why is the easier battles scoring more points? If that's the case, I haven't really verified my point. But like, if that's the case, what the heck? If everybody is just getting less points, that's a stat squish. We've seen him in many games before. And whatever, like, if somebody who used to be putting up 2 million points, a rotation, is now putting up 1.5, and someone who used to put up 100,000 points in a rotation is now putting up 75,000 points, well, then it affected everybody equally, because they're just giving less points. But if it didn't affect everybody across the board, because then that just means that the numbers are going to be at the end are going to to be lower. Yeah, the same amount of battles, but just a lower score to get into that.
And we did that when they did the Reds. Remember when the Red Star rework happened, the numbers went up. With the Reds, like the Blitz.
There's been several times that the Blitz changed, the scoring has changed, and we've had to adjust the scoring and stuff. So.
Yeah, but as of this, we don't know. Like, if I'm getting less points, but someone else is getting more points, or if there's a trick to blitzing now that we just don't see, Like that's gonna get solved, and then we're right back where we were before, except someone has to click lose.
Yeah, I think because it's so unclear in this blog post, the only information we have is the current blitz, and it's hard to say what is going on. If this blitz is something random, if it's this blitz has been live for like a little over a day, and that's the only information we have to go on. So it's kind of hard to see see what's going on with these blitz changes if with just this.
Just a quick side note, you know what would be awesome, Valley? What if they got a group of people who make content for this game, right? Just any group of people.
Tell me more.
We'll call them envoys, right? Just for the sake of argument.
Yes.
And then they provided them with content, like videos that show footage of the changes, so that these people could present this information to everybody, and we wouldn't have to sit here scratching our heads and wondering. Or
have some like version, or have like a version of a game that's not on a live server. Maybe like a testing thing that we could test these out, fully test it as much as we want, and figure everything out. Do all that theory graph thing. That would be something cool as well.
A test server. Wow. You're
fancy, right?
We got to tell them about this. We have to tell them these are options.
All right, let's cut. We got to cut this part. We got to go tell them. All right, and we're back, and now we're looking at the 2020 preview, the second version, the one that came out on July 21st. And in this, they do talk about Blitz. I did want to talk about something they said. So in this, most of this section right here, they're talking about the changes that we just got that we're still kind of confused about. But in the last sentence here, I didn't want to focus on this. We're also looking at ways to reduce overall time spent in Blitz to allow you to focus on other parts of the game. Now, I was expecting these Blitz changes that we saw coming to do that, but I guess that's coming sometime later in 2020. Do you think that they're still working on Blitz and finding a way to improve this game mode?
No, that sentence is exclusively speaking to the 30 or 40 people who lose sleep over Blitz. Where they're trying to prevent them from spending that much time, not the 100,000 other people who play the game. Just those 30 people, because this change has not reduced what the average player of the game like. There's a reason people don't blitz, or there's a reason people are like milestone and chill blitzers. You know, like it's because it's not rewarding. It's not a very rewarding goal. It's for some people, it's not even worth the $24 or $50 that it takes to just unlock a character, and it is what it is. But to me, there's always been problems with Blitz, and every time they change something, they like incremental value, but never fix the actual issues. And in my opinion, the actual issues of Blitz is that you should be able to log in whenever you want, do all of your blitzes for the day, and walk away. So if you want to keep the numbers low, that's simple. You can use every single character 5 times a day. That's it. And then cores and everything else is what comes in. This way you can do it over the course of the day. You can do it all at once. That's fine. Is that going to make it easier for people with low TCP rosters? No, of course it's not going to make it easier for people with low TCP rosters. But it would never be easier for people with low TCP rosters. The idea is that it still takes time. People will still have to choose to spend the time to do it, and it will allow people to play the game at their own opportunity. That's just something like off the top of my head, simple solution to make Blitz that. The other thing is just make every Blitz battle do something more than just give you an arbitrary amount of Blitz credits. Like let him give you
when they had those orb fragments, that was fun. You know, sometimes you get a full orb, sometimes you get pieces of orbs. That would make it more fun than the current iteration of Blitz. Yeah, should have
a shard of the orb for that character. Like you can spend 675 cores to open the Blitz character orb. Why not just have every single Blitz fight have 50 to 2,000, and then you can open a handful of orbs. This way, even the people who are just incapable of blitzing, for top numbers, still have that chance, have that gambler's chance of opening an orb and getting a good drop. That should be permanent.
Yeah. That they've added that in the past. I've had more fun with those, but
it's not over generous. It's not giving away too much. You're incentivizing people. Every action should be rewarding. And if the idea of being Blitz is like, okay, this rotation's happening. What do I get out of this rotation? More points towards the score. Great, that's fine. But if the average player who doesn't care about the score is like, oh, I could do a rotation right now and maybe get another orb to open and hopefully pull 6 to 10 additional shards of who's the next Blitz character? Zemo, right? Zemo, like how, or Colossus this tomorrow. Like that would be huge. People would be like, oh wow, Blitz is a fun and rewarding game mode, as opposed to right now where it's a slog and it's only getting worse apparently.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, improved.
Yeah. All right, so you mentioned this briefly about the raid store getting one more line. It's also getting another character, Cyclops, being added. 3 more slots. 1 is for a character, so it makes that selection 4 out of however many in the store instead of 3 out of however many in the store, and then 2 more orange gear slots. So good things coming to the raid store. What is your reaction to these updates to the raid store?
We asked for 3, they gave us 1, you know, like, hey, give us another row. Here's 1. Yes, thank you, I guess. You know, like, yes, I'm not angry. Like, thank you for adding another slot, because now I think there's like 17 or 18 characters with Cyclops in the raid store. So at least now there's a chance I might find there's the character I'm looking for.
In a week. In a week.
Yeah, one day, once in a week. You know, it's better, but... great, you know, like I want to be salty about it, but it's something, you know. So thanks, I guess. Please add 2 more. You know, like I don't know how much data are these slots taking that you're going so crazy at. Like,
those take a lot, dude. Those are like the save squads and those extra numbers on the orange gear. We can't get too crazy. We can't get too crazy with raid store. But hey, do you want to know what I'm happy for?
What are you happy for, my
friend? I'm happy that our girl, the legendary Shuri, had her event come back this week, guys. And there were some of you guys that unlocked her out there. Real quick, what are some of the best uses for this character right now in the game?
I've gotten this question a lot all week. So, because I just unlocked her on my free-to-play account, and then people watched as I did nothing to her. And they're like, why aren't you working on her? I'm like, well, right now, she actually doesn't matter to my roster. Not because she's not good, but because I have already a character like Minerva, who's doing what I need her to in the raids I'm doing and everything. She's a tech character that was for beta. She's just good in Ultimus 6.3 and 4, which are the ones I'm doing right now. So I didn't really need to spend more tech gear on a tech character that's tech. But if you don't have Minerva, then I would absolutely work on Shuri. She's a phenomenal raid healer. She gets better the later in the game you are. And as a rule, Shuri is one of the best healers, if not the best healer, for fights that are harder than you're able to do damage, if that makes sense. Like if you're not taking a turn and immediately taking out 1 or more characters, Shuri is a better sustainable healer because of the defense up to keep them alive, the deflex when they reach half health, the passive heal she does in raids, as well as her very large ultimate heal. So you want to use her maybe if you're trying to force towards a higher tier of raid, like maybe you've been doing U6.1 and now you're like, let's see if I can do U6.2. Shuri tends to be a little bit better if your characters don't have the damage that they normally would have, especially because Minerva only works best when you're absolutely obliterating your opponents to keep her up. But there's kind of a weird like flow between them. So for people who just unlocked her, congratulations. You have one of the best end game raid healers. She is phenomenal in war. She is phenomenal in arena, actually. If you unlock her, she gives defense ups early. She's pretty relevant. And she'll keep your team alive. I still see in top 100 of arena, I'll still see occasionally a team with Shuri on it.
I mean, you mentioned that she's good in war. I mean, she is on one of the meta teams in war when on her national team on the Mercs. Yeah, I mean, she's in a meta team.
She's a Merc healer.
Yeah, she's the Merc healer. So
again, she has another team. I just never remember what it is.
I don't know. I mean, I use her in hybrid. I use her in the Mercs and the hybrid team. I can't imagine anyone using her on any other team.
What other team is Shuri on? Comment below, guys.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. Valuable lessons. This is the new milestones, I guess, or the new event stuff that's happening. We got some daily ones and mentorship trait. Wondering about what the heck that was. That is for this event. We've got a login calendar, bonus events, these quarter blitzes, never exceeding 25 charges. I mean, Blitz just keeps getting better and better. This is an awesome blog post for Blitz enthusiasts. What do you feel about these valuable lessons coming?
I'm never gonna have a problem with more gear. You know, like I'm never gonna have an issue with getting more gear, especially orange gear. Superior being orange, advanced being purple. So for me, I'm happy. Like I like events. You know, not every event is the best thing I've ever seen. Not every event is easy. There's no reason why there's not always some kind of event going on, whether it be a milestone like this, whether it be an event campaign. God knows they have plenty. They can go back and drudge up some of the old ones and throw them out if they want. I like the idea of events. I like the idea of a living game that's something new and exciting every week, because you could choose. Like for me, if they brought back, we'll say the Pyro event, right? Mm-hmm. For me, I'm not touching that event. That event's useless to me. I have a 7-star Pyro and pretty much all the characters that they put in a Pyro orb. But for some players, that event might be so much more valuable, and they might spend more money, or they might like pivot the resources. There's just no reason. So I love these events, and I'm never going to criticize them. As a matter of fact, I ask that they do more of them. I love this kind of stuff that lets you enjoy quality playtime. You know, that's the key. It's all about high quality playtime versus low quality playtime.
Yeah, I'm a fan of these events. They seem like they've been finding ways to include these, whether it be summer or going back to school or things like. But I really like your lesson. I really like your idea of bringing back older events, like that Pyro event, like that maybe like a Deadpool event or a real old Thanos event or something like that. You know, bringing some of these older events back for newer players that don't have these characters unlocked that we had access to when we were newer players in the game. So I like that idea. I think they should
literally
do that.
It's, as a programmer, like they did the work on it. You know what I mean? Like the work is done. It will cost them nothing to put it back in, and it will be huge as far as players, like player positivity. Like it's a huge player positive move. It'll help a whole bunch of players in the early, even in the mid game. I mean, tell me if you don't have a 7-star Pyro, that if they brought back the Pyro event, I'm not even talking about the Minerva event. Come on now. Like we know we're never seeing that again. That's a unicorn.
One day, when she's like so far out of the meta, it'll come back. Yeah.
And it's one thing to do special events for a special period. I get that, but like you never need to. Remember, do you guys remember? I'm just asking you, Valley. Do you remember when raids, like the Gamma, Alpha, and Beta raids, they weren't consecutive? Like you would do the Beta raid, and then you'd have a week off.
Oh, and not only that. Or it would be more than a week, but there would be months. Like, when is the next raid coming back? And you would unlock characters from that, and there would be some cool stuff in those orbs. Not all farmable characters. It was nice. I remember that. Back in the day, guys. I remember that stuff.
And they sped it up. Like that's what they did. They're like, okay, cool. We're just gonna keep a permanent cycle of the raids going on, and that'll be what you guys have. Like they could do the same thing with events. There's no reason not to. Like we're just gonna pick one at random and throw it in, and then like every third week of the month is like in my mind, whenever there should be like an alternation. Like there's one of these crazy milestone things, and then there should be an OG event campaign. And if there's a new event campaign, that'll take over for that cycle. So it'll be like, okay, after this event campaign is over, we add this milestone. It kind of keeps a good flow. It keeps the game feeling like something new is happening. And I know sometimes you just get to a point where you just don't feel like you're growing. At least these new events can kind of freshen it up for a lot of people who are caught in that weird, well, I need 300 shards or 200 shards to hit the next tier up. Well, congratulations. You can get a war machine now without having to worry about spending resources.
Yeah.
Well,
do it. All the hard work is done.
I like it.
Scopely. All right, Baron Zemo. We know his full kit. We've known his full kit for a while, but blog post revealed Son of Evil Blitz featuring Baron Zemo. So most likely being released for pay-to-play players this week, and Blitz next week. What are your thoughts on him being yet another Blitz release character with all these changes?
I never like 100 shard unlock Blitz characters. I just feel like it literally prices people out of the character. It's too, maybe with the Blitz changes, we don't know. Maybe it's going to be easier for people to unlock him. I always like the Blitz characters at 45 shards. Guaranteed unlocks if you hit all the milestones. Guaranteed, 100%. Because if you hit all the milestones, you are guaranteed to get at least 5 shards from the first Blitz, That's 21 plus 5. And then the second Blitz gives you 21 shards. That's 46 or 47 shards. That's a 2-star character. You just for completing the milestones in a Blitz, you get to unlock a character. That is something that I always felt like, okay, that's cool. Once you do the 100, all of those numbers change. You know, so I'm always against a 100 shard Blitz character unlock. Yeah. That said, Zemo is awesome. You know, for a very small group of players, Zemo is allowing you to use characters that have long been useless in your roster. Crossbones, Winter Soldier, Hydra Grenadier. You know, like you're getting, it's not just him who is great, like his kit's great. You're getting value out of maybe things you invested in. Maybe you've been playing for a long time and you just happen across high red stars on Crossbones and you're like, oh, well, he's not good. But anytime they did it with,
or maybe you invested heavily back when Crossbones was good and Winter Soldier was mediocre, way back in the day.
When you put him with Kingpin, the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days.
No, I don't think there's inherently anything wrong with it. They did it with Graviton, right? They released Graviton, who is like the most powerful member of the AIM team, and then they reworked the AIM characters. They did it with Thor. You know, they released 3 new Asgardians, Hela, and then Sif and Heimdall, and then they reworked Thor and a little bit of Loki. Like it's fine. I appreciate this because it brings me a reason to care about this new character.
Yes.
I'm just a little concerned about Blitz because, you know, if this is the release, and again, those 100 characters that pay-to-play players are about to pony up at least $50 to unlock them, USD, is not going to help a lot of people. That said, if you don't get them, you'll be okay. It's just a war offense team, you know? And if you don't have Crossbones and Winter Soldier and Hydra Grenadier invested in, then he's not exciting. So at that point, only buy him if you really like his purple hat.
All right, and now it is my favorite time of the weekly news update every week, talking about rumors, potential rumors, data mines. Now, we don't have a lot of new stuff except one. We have one new thing from Drew, the rumor guy, the resident rumor official on the show. He said, Agent, that was teased a few weeks ago on Facebook, is not from S.H.I.E.L.D. What do you make of this? That's a couple people that just got eliminated, if this rumor is true.
So yes, if this is if this is speculation, rumor, leak, whatever word you want to use for it, that it's not a S.H.I.E.L.D. character, that means a couple of things.
Agent 13.
Agent 13 is S.H.I.E.L.D.
Melinda May.
Agent Carter is S.H.I.E.L.D.
Carter.
Maria Hill, who would be, I guess, another character.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. But bad news bears, Agent Venom is also a S.H.I.E.L.D. character.
Would he get that S.H.I.E.L.D. tag, or is a symbiote?
The origins of Agent Venom is Flash Thompson was paralyzed, signed up with S.H.I.E.L.D., obtained the Venom symbiote, and then took pills in order to maintain control over the host's body. He then went on to believe I become a Guardian of the Galaxy. So the question then becomes, does the agent not have the S.H.I.E.L.D. tag? Because that can mean anything. Punisher doesn't have the Defenders or the military tag. You know what I mean? Like when you say, is this character not S.H.I.E.L.D., do you mean this character isn't a S.H.I.E.L.D. character? Or do you mean this character?
In the game. I wonder if Drew knows that he is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I feel like that might be some extra information.
I think we should ask him if he knows.
Oh, I didn't think he was from S.H.I.E.L.D. Then that kind of gives you a little bit of the rumor. But
I think we're gonna have to go clarify.
Again, do you remember?
But Hydra was also a possibility, right?
Hydra Bob.
Yes, they are still on. Hydra is still on the table.
Still might get him.
All right. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. Where is this rumor taking you guys? All right, and Tony, my friend, it is a pleasure as always talking with you and your smoothness this week, man. Sitting by that fireplace, and added some romance to the show this week.
It was a bedtime story. I'm tucking a whole bunch of kids in tonight. You're welcome.
Nice. And if you guys are listening to the podcast version, have no idea what we're talking, make sure you come over to the YouTube channel and check it out. Tony, before you leave, tell everybody where they could find you.
Right now, you could probably find me at a Whole Foods.
Okay.
Basically, wherever you are, find a Whole Foods, and I'll be in there arguing over the price of avocados.
Now, what if they want to find some past, like some of your chronological past work, maybe some of your past videos, or maybe some of the future things that you're going to do? Where should they look for you at that point? If you're not at the Whole Foods,
but you could definitely find me literally anywhere at /Tony Scungili. Anyway, got it.
So YouTube, the Twitter, Facebooks, Twitch, the Instagrams, all of it. Got it. Okay. So links will be down below, guys. And yes, it is fun as usual, brother. So I will see you, all of you guys, next time. Do all the usual stuff. Subscribe, like, smash everything. I will check out some of the links down below. There's affiliate links. And before you go, give me a Hulk fist bump, Tony. Where's that fist? ValleyFlyin and Tony Scungili out.